Okay, now I'm going to go over with you those 15 questions to ask, and I'm going to point out several features of American Sign Language grammar, both with the face and body and use of space, as well as sign vocabulary, sign order, and sign production. So starting with number one, ask the person who he or she lives with and what their household duties are. So this is a WHword question because we're asking things like who and what. So for WHword questions, you furrow your eyebrows. See, you make these little wrinkles there, you furrow them. And for all questions, both yes, no, and WHword questions, when you're actually asking somebody, you lean forward, okay? So I'll show you what the question looks like from the side. Okay, now I start off with you. Remember, in American Sign Language, all pronouns, personal pronouns, are made with the index finger. So I, you, and then this doesn't have any gender, so it could be he, she, it, or they. And then there's you all, and there's we, as in all of us. If you're talking about other multiple personal pronouns, plural personal pronouns, like the two of us, I and a third person, the two of us, or the two of us as in you and I, the two of us, that's a different story. But when you're just in general saying I, you, he, she, they, it, we, us, and also I should point out that the personal pronouns that I just said, I, you, we, he, she, it, they, those are all what are called subject pronouns. That's when usually it's at the beginning of a sentence, like I throw the ball to you. Now, English is, kind of tricky because you is both subject and object. So I could say you throw the ball to, and what would I say? I? You throw the ball to I? No, in English, you as the subject pronoun throw the ball to me. That's the object pronoun. Okay. And if I say I like her, that is an object pronoun. I, subject pronoun, like her, object pronoun. But if I'm saying I like her shoes, then I'm not saying that I like her. I'm saying I like something that she possesses. And the possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, their. Your, as in all of your, our. And also, what are called possessive pronouns in English and grammar would be mine. So there's my, which is a possessive adjective, and then mine, which is a possessive pronoun. I might have to look that up. It may be the other way around when grammarians talk about English. But anyway, just remember that this means both my and mine. This is both your and yours. This is both her and hers, his and his, which is the same word, except it has a different meaning. Their, theirs, its, its with no apostrophe because it doesn't mean it is. It's meaning it belongs to it. Okay, so That was a long review of personal pronouns and possessive adjectives, but I just want to make sure that that's out there. Because in this first question, we're going to use both personal pronoun and possessive adjective because it says, ask the person who he or she, so we're pointing to a person, lives with and what their duties are or what their household chores are. Okay. So when you're talking about their, now we're assuming that you live with more than one person, let's say, and we're going to use space in front of us in an arc because we're talking about the household duties that belong to the various people that you live with. So it would be their, as in all of theirs, their. Okay, so you live with who? There's your WHword question, and you're leaning forward and furrowing your brows. Their duties, it's made with a D. It's like work, but with a D. Duties, what? Remember that in American Sign Language, you put the WHword question signs at the end. You live with who? Their duties, what? Okay? All right. Now, the second one. You ask the person, ask if the person exercises every day. Now, when you are making a statement or telling a story in American Sign Language, you usually start with the time element first, which I'll show you in number 3. But when you're asking a question, you don't have to put it at the beginning. Well, sometimes you do, but this one's hard to explain. Instead of saying every day you exercise, the question is just you exercise every day? That's how the question is asked. Okay, number 3, ask what the person did last Saturday. So now we do want to set up the time element because we're talking about a certain time frame and then we're asking the person a question about it. So last Saturday, you do. Remember, this sign means what to do, what do you do, what did you do, what will you do. It's a very it's a very versatile sign. So last, this is in the past, last Saturday, you do. Okay. Number 4, ask when the person does laundry. Again, this is a WHword question because we're asking about when. But remember I said that the WHword signs come at the end of the sentence. So you, now what is do laundry? Do we use the sign do? No. You, clothing, launder, like wash clothing, when? And also remember, in American Sign Language, usually the noun comes before the verb. So it's clothing launder, not you launder clothing, but you clothing launder when. It's like the opposite of English. It's not when you launder clothing. It's the opposite. You clothing launder when. Number 5. Here you want to use what's called contrastive structure. You're talking about one brother and one sister. So you want to tilt to the left for one brother and tilt to the right for one sister. Actually, if you're left-handed, you should tilt to the right and then the left. Basically, in American Sign Language, there's a rule of thumb that you start with your non-dominant side. So since my dominant side is right, I'm a right-handed writer, I'm going to start to the left. Okay, so it looks like this. I have, I'm not exactly symmetrical here, but anyway, I have one, see, I'm already turning to the left, brother. Notice brother and sister are just made with the L hand shapes. That's all. Brother, one sister. Now there's an old-fashioned sign, brother and sister, which literally means boy same, girl same. But that sign has evolved, and now it's simply made with the L hand shapes on both hands, brother and one sister. I could also say I have two brothers and five sisters. It doesn't matter, but the point is you want to separate them. And I'm the youngest or the baby. What does it say? The baby of the family. Now, you don't actually sign baby. No, you sign, you're going to use your non-dominant hand to hold up the number of things, items, which in this case are siblings. The number is siblings. So there are three, right? Because there's one brother, one sister, and there's me. So there are three of us. And I'm the baby, which means I'm the last one. So I'm not this one. This is the firstborn. I'm not the second one. I'm this one. I'm the third one. So I point to that using my dominant hand. And then I'm going to add the sign last, just to very much clarify that I am the last one. In other words, the baby. Now, the question is, do you have brothers or sisters? So what is that? Is that a WHword question? Does it have a who, what, where, when, why, how? Oh, it's a yes-no question because the answer to the question is either yes, I have brothers or sisters, or no, I don't have brothers or sisters. Now, certainly you can add additional information. You can say yes, and then you could say, I have two brothers and six sisters, but the original question can be answered with either a yes or no. So if it's a yes-no question, the eyebrows go way up when you tilt forward. You lean forward and you raise your eyebrows. So, you have brother, sister, you. Okay, notice the eyebrows are way up, and I'm also ending with the sign you because that emphasizes that I'm talking about you and I want you to respond to the question. Okay. Number 6. Ask the person whom he or she is closest to. Now, this sign means to be close to. You may have seen this sign, which means next to, or like near, like I live near something, or the my house there, near the store. Okay, but to be close, you have your non-dominant hand, and your dominant hand, the back of it, comes and hits the front of your non-dominant hand. So, there's that WHword sign at the end again. You close to who? Okay. Number 7. Ask the person if they want children in the future. Now, again, is this a WHword question or a yes/no question? It's a yes/no question because the answer is either yes, I want to have children in the future, or no, I don't. Now, you can add additional information. Yes, I want one boy, one girl. Okay, but the original answer is either no or yes. So what do I have to do with my eyebrows? I have to raise them up really high. And the reason I say really high is a lot of students, they just don't do them high enough, and it's not very clear that it's a yes/no question. So you lean forward and you raise your eyebrows. But we start with a time element, okay? We're not getting to the eyebrow raising yet. And actually, I'm a little bit wrong about that. When you have a topic, which means the thing that you're going to ask about or the thing that you're going to tell about, you do raise your eyebrows for that as well. So you would sign future, but I'm not really leaning forward much, okay? Because I'm not asking yet. In the future, you want children, you? Okay, number 8. Ask the person how old he or she is. Now, is this a yes or no question or a WHword question? It's a WHword question because we want to know how old. It's not are you old, it's how old are you? Let me show you the difference. This is how old are you? This is are you old? So how old are you is old you, old. And also you'll see that people kind of mouthing O for old. So that is how to ask how old are you. Number 9, tell the person you need to see their teacher, ask where his or her office is located. So the topic of this sentence is actually teacher. Teacher, I need to or have to see. Pause, because now I'm going to ask a question. I just made a statement. I need to see the teacher. Now I'm going to ask the question. Remember, this third person possessive adjective can mean his, her, its, or their. I'm not mentioning the gender of the teacher. I'm just saying, and I'm spelling office, and I'm going to ask where by leaning forward, furrowing my brows, and signing where. Number 10. Again, we're going to use contrastive structure. It says, ask the person what kind of residence she or he lives in. I know that doesn't sound like it's an either or, but in American Sign Language, it's easy to say, you live house. I'm starting on my non-dominant side, house. Now I'm tilting to the right, apartment. And now in the middle, I'm going to lean forward, furrow my brows, and sign which. Okay, so number 11. Ask if he or she has a pet. What's the topic of the sentence? Pet. So I'm going to spell pet. It's a yes or no question. The answer is either yes, I have pets, or no, I don't have pets. Of course, if you were to answer it, you could say, I used space around me. 2 dogs, 1 turtle, 3 cats. But when you're asking the question, all you have to do is spell pet. You have, eyebrows way up. Number 12, ask the person, what is the sum of 23 plus 3? We're asking what, so it's a WHword question. But you know how in English people talk about the 5 W's and how. Okay, so who, what, where, when, why, and sometimes how. Even though how starts with an H, it's still considered in the category of WHword questions because what you're asking for is information. You're not asking yes or no. So in ASL, we use the sign which means how many or how much. So first, we're going to show the mathematical equation. And I'm going to use some contrastive structure here. 23 plus 3, how many? Number 13, ask if the person learned Spanish in high school. First, we're going to talk about the time element. Past, in the past. When? High school, HS. And it's actually it's called a lexicalized sign. It takes the letters H and S, which normally would just be HS, and makes them into a sign. High school. It has a different palm orientation and movement. High school. And then we're going to ask, did you learn Spanish? So, past, in the past, high school, you learn Spanish? You? Learn with one movement is to find out something or to learn a lesson, a one-time thing. You learned it. But when you're learning a language, it's an ongoing activity. So you repeat the sign. Learn, learn, learn. Past high school, this is the topic. Past high school, you learn Spanish, you? Number 14. Name items in a category and ask what the category is. Now, the way that Signing Naturally Units 1 through 6 teaches you to do this is to list several things, and there's something called horizontal listing in ASL, which is you lean back and forth, almost as you would use commas in English, like spaghetti, garlic bread, Caesar salad. You're listing things in an Italian meal. So we're going to use this horizontal listing to name certain items. You can be very creative with this. You can name several fruits, numbers, letters, names, colors, anything that all fit into a category. And yes, this is a sign for category, but signing naturally teaches you to make a circle around these things and then sign what at the end. So in my example, I used fruits. I said apple, banana, orange, circle all those things. What? Number 15, point to an item or name and object and ask what color it is. So again, you can be creative. You take any prop around you, anything you have. You could even say this shirt color. Now, color is not usually a WHword question, but you can use the sign color with your eyebrows furrowed, which implies what? What color? Okay, so take anything. I held up my watch. Okay, I hold up something, I point to it, and I just lean forward, furrow my eyebrows, and sign color. And that means what color is this? Okay, I know this was a bit long-winded, but I hope it helps because I really wanted to expand upon these questions because this is a recap of all of ASL 1 in one little assignment. And so I wanted to expand on that and really explain each one by one and point out the grammatical features, what you do with your eyebrows, what you do with your body, how you use space, what signs you use, how to produce those signs, and what order to put them in. Okay, so I hope this helped, and if you have any questions, please ask me.